Check, check. All right, everybody. Welcome back to episode number 93 of the Idols to Rivals podcast. This time we are not joined by anyone. It'll just be a solo going back to the old days of how I used to do this. And I like to pop on here every now and again and just do these solo episodes, kind of make sure everything's getting back to its roots and to why I started this podcast in the first place. And that would be documenting the journey, saying things I've learned, things that I think are insightful, things that I thought, would help people out. And that's the podcast I like to listen to, is hearing little bits of insight, whether it be business, philosophy, a book somebody read, whatever it may be. But that is originally why I started this podcast. And it's kind of turned into, having other people on it, which I enjoy. I think those make for the best podcasts. Having other people's personality, having other people's stories, I think just adds a lot of value. And so with that being said, I'm just going to get into it. We're just going to run through it. I don't know how long this podcast is going to be this week, but I just wanted to get one all ironed out and uploaded here because everything's about to get a little crazy over these next couple weeks. So if this is your first time listening, my name is Jack. I upload these podcasts every Wednesday. They're available on Spotify. They're available on Apple Podcasts, Cast, whatever they're called, Android, pretty much anywhere you listen to podcasts at. I've seen even on Audible now that they have some podcasts. So I believe it's on there as well. Anywhere you can listen to a podcast. And if you enjoy it, make sure you follow, like it, and share it. Sharing really helps because, once it gets spread out from one person, then maybe someone else sees it and it goes from there. So that really helps out the most. But I appreciate everybody for listening. 93 episodes in, a little bit over 2 years, and we're still kicking it. I still love doing it. I was talking to a friend of mine today. I'm just talking about trying different things. I know a couple of my friends are still big into the video game scene. So I was talking to them about whether it be streaming or just kind of turning it into more than a hobby, turning it into something that maybe could bring an income, or at the very least, pass the time and create something, create a following or a community. Because I think that's the coolest part. Yes, everyone wants to get paid. Everyone wants to pay rent, but also having that kind of in the back pocket to where you get to meet a bunch of cool people. You get to have cool conversations, and that's what I want this to be, and that's what it's turned into more and more, is cutting through the bullshit and cutting through kind of the surface level stuff, getting to those deeper conversations. I'm in the talks of, and have been for a while, about having another podcast, and it's gone under various names, various project titles, but the gist of it is, getting really deep with people, getting people's real conversations, and the idea around it is just, you get the fluff, you get the how was your day, or how was your weekend, all that stuff. You get that, 95% of the time. But the conversations I really enjoy for sure are the ones where you get to know, what makes somebody tick, what do they love doing, where they love going, what do they do for fun, who are their friends, what do they care about. I think those are the coolest conversations. Those are the ones that you remember, not, the weather's great today, or I just hung out for the weekend or mowed the lawn. Like, just all those mindless conversations that you have, whether it be in person, online, cutting through those conversations. So that's always been something that I've really enjoyed, and I think I get the most out of, and I believe a lot of people do as well. That's why people listen to interviews, or they listen to podcasts that have experts or whatever it may be, to learn a certain subject or skill. Just having that mindset and getting in deep dive into someone's mind, and taking things from it, whether it be, like I said, new skills, new ideas, new thought process, new way to live. I think that stuff's super cool. And that's why I got into podcasting. That's why I listen to podcasts quite a bit. And so that's kind of what I've always wanted to add. That's what I wanted to bring to the table with a podcast like this. And again, I know it's ventured off a little bit to where it goes into a different direction, but we're all feeling it out. We're still new to this. I know said I've been doing it 2 years, but I feel like I just started yesterday. And so it's been a blast, and I'll continue to do it. And I hope everybody's along for the ride and enjoys it. But today we're going to start off like we always do, sports, a little bit, just touching on it. As sports come to a close, we're going to the nightmare scenario where it is only baseball. I don't watch baseball at all. Didn't realize quite how little I knew the rules were until I went to the Marlins game last season. And I had no fucking clue what was going on. I get, most runs win, but aside from that, I barely know anything. 3 strikes, you're out, all that good stuff. But other than that, not really much. So not a big baseball guy. NBA final closed out with the Golden State Warriors winning. I know a lot of people didn't want them to win. I wish both teams could have lost. I can never root for a Boston/Massachusetts team till the day that I die. So I couldn't do it. I had to be rooting for the Golden State Warriors. Again, didn't want them to win, kind of over the whole, flopping. Draymond Green is an asshole, and showed it throughout this whole experience. But hey, he won a title, another title, and he played out of his mind. So respect is due. But that is pretty much it for the NBA. That's all wrapped up, and I believe the NBA starts back pretty quickly. So they'll be back for more. And then really what I've been getting into is NHL. So I went to a few Panthers games this year. The Panthers were playing out of their mind. Unfortunately, we got swept by Tampa. Absolutely hate Tampa. They're quickly becoming a team that I may hate forever just because now I'm signing on as a Panthers fan. Kind of dabbled in whenever I was in DC, kind of dabbled with the Caps, but I don't consider myself a true fan there. And so I kind of want to adopt a team in this sport that I'm finally catching on to and realizing that it's incredible. It's awesome to watch the fights, the action. It's back and forth nonstop. If you haven't watched NHL, I think it's growing a huge fan base. I think a lot of it has to do with the Spit and Chicklets podcast. I check that out if you haven't already. Biz, Whitney, everybody. I think that they're really growing, getting the younger demographic because the NHL has done a terrible job of marketing. You never know when games are on. Even on ESPN, I think ESPN's not really helping them out. Every time you check, there was a Stanley Cup final game on yesterday, and we were checking what time it was, and it was 10 minutes after the puck drop, and we were trying to find the channel that it was on ESPN, and yet there's 15,000 things above it, like a regular season MLB game. So I think those go hand in hand, but great series so far. I'm rooting for the Avs. Avs are up, I believe, 3-1 right now, 3-1 or 3-2. And so they need one more to win it. I hope they do. The couple games in overtime have been crazy. The 7-0 game, the 6-2 game that Tampa Bay had. I just can't see Tampa Bay win 3 Stanley Cups in a row. That being said, if they do, I will definitely be going to the Tampa Bay celebration parade and be bringing a camera along and hopefully get a pretty good video there. So there is, it's a win-win either way, but I really do not want to see Tampa get a three-peat just because Tampa will have 3 in a row and then the Panthers will have 0. Don't really want to see that happen. But with that being said, final news, college football news a little bit. Not the news I wanted to report. Arch Manning has announced that he is going to UT, horns down forever. That one's for you, Luch. Wish you could be here to talk about that. But pretty pissed. Not going to lie. Kind of acted like I didn't care. Pretty pissed. I wanted a Manning to be in crimson. But going to UT, don't really think that spells any danger for Quinn Ewers or Ewers, however you say his last name. I think they'll be fine. I don't think that the times line up. I don't know exactly when Arch is starting, but I wish I could have seen a Manning in crimson this year or as soon as possible. But he's going to UT, so we'll see what happens. We have a big game against them this season. So any bit of college football news is good news. So I want to highlight that as before we start the season. But enough of that. Like I said, sports are ending, so we're all going to have to go into a slump unless you're an MLB fan. Kind of wanted to go over a couple books I've been reading and listening to and just kind of some ideas that stuck out to me. And hopefully some things that'll change your perspective. I know maybe saying going over books and notes probably sounds boring as shit, but it's more about, things that kind of hit you. I don't know if people read out there or if they watch YouTube videos or if they even talking to other people, mentors, whatever. There's a million ways to get information, but so far I've been doing a lot of reading because I think I spend way too much time on YouTube watching videos and just kind of screw it off. So having books is that foundation of where, it's really more exercise for your mind than watching a video. Even very visual guy, but having the sit down, shut everything off and then read a book, it really helps out. And even the short bit, I've kind of been on a stint of it for the past maybe less than 30 days. You can tell your cognition picks up, your recognition of words gets better. There's a lot of advantage to it, and it quiets the mind. It settles it out to where you can actually think. And whenever you're watching a YouTube video that's 30 minutes long and they're just firing maybe great facts or great quotes at you, I feel like once that's all said and done, it's a little bit different. You don't memorize it as well. It doesn't stick in your brain. So I've been switching up, want to get better at reading. So that's why I said I'm becoming a reader. And first book that I just finished is The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday. So if you've been listening to the podcast, the last book I finished with Ryan Holiday was, what was it? Willpower. It was something along those lines. Courage is Calling. That's what it was. Courage is Calling. Great book along the same vein. So Courage is Calling was all about, going after it. You only have to be courageous for a split second for that one decision. And once you do that, one more, that idea of just of sticking it out one more time will lead to great successes, you achieving your goals. And so this is kind of along the same vein. It's talking about how there's, obstacles arising, which funny enough, as I record this, there's a lot of things going on in my life and friends' lives where there are a lot of obstacles. There's a lot of unforeseen things popping up. If you hang around me, if you know me, if I talk to you personally, things have been going a little bit crazy. Nothing horrible, thank God, knock on wood. But the unexpected happens to everybody all the time. 365, there's going to be something that pops up that you didn't want to happen, that you didn't think would happen, that you didn't prepare for. And so this book kind of hit home at the perfect time. And I think there's a lot of valuable things. And what I do is, after I listen to a book, if I read a book, I highlight it, I annotate it, just so I can remember key quotes. And if I'm going back through, I can flip through rather than reread it. I will reread these once I get through the whole stack. But I do bookmarks on Audible. I go down the list, and then whenever I'm done, I write them all down in a book, so I can have them all kind of in one place. I've got a bunch of books in here already, and it's more of in the mindset idea of things. But the first quote that really stuck out to me was perception, action, will. That is how you solve all obstacles. And so this is the biggest thing that I've been harping on recently, is mindset. I have something that I've been working on just to kind of boil things down to the root elements. My biggest thing is, you can study all these ideas, you can study these mindsets, these action tactics, whatever it may be. But the hardest thing, in my opinion, is when you're in the moment, is having to implement those. You may know what to do, but in the moment, whenever you're anxious or nervous, or, senses are intensified, you don't think to go, okay, here's my action plan. Here's what I need to do. I know what to do when I'm nervous. And you kind of go through that moment. And then after the fact, you think of all those things. Whenever you get in a fight with somebody, for example, and you're like, damn, I should have said that. You're laying in bed, you're like, damn, I should have said that, or I should have went here, or whatever it may be. We've all had that moment. And so realizing it, getting off that hook of the situation, and realizing, okay, step back. This is what I need to do. This is what I need to implement in this situation, is the biggest thing. And that's something that I've been working on heavily, because I think it's the biggest problem most people have is they'll go through the situation, do what they normally do, go to their normal baseline of reaction. And then at the end of it, they'll go, oh my God, I knew, like I'd read this or heard this. I know how I should have reacted better to that. And so perception, that's that mindset. So mindset, emotion, whatever you want to call it, perception is everything. You can take something that's good and make it bad. You can take something that's bad and look at it in a positive light. And there's a million different examples of these, but it comes down to where your mindset's at. You can go, hey, I got a flat tire, and, I don't have the money to buy a new one. I'm going to be rolling on a donut for the next 3 months. Or, I failed this test, but you don't know if you didn't have that flat tire, maybe, God forbid, somebody would have ran a red light and hit you. If you didn't fail that test, maybe you don't retake the class, and then you meet the love of your life in the next one. You never really know. Or you fail that class and you switch directions completely and go to a different major, go to something else, or quit school entirely. Whatever you think is the right move. You can take those negatives and turn them into positives, or you can take positives and turn it into negative. And so when those obstacles hit, whenever those things come up that you didn't want to happen or didn't foresee, and set you back financially, time, emotionally set you back, all those things, when you take a moment to look at those things, you can decide how you're going to play it. You can decide if this is going to be an advantage or disadvantage. And yes, in a perfect world, this sounds great. It sounds like, oh, well, I could just think my way out of it. No, there's tragedies, there's horrible things that happen, but at the end of the day, you can put that filter on as to what you think will best get you to where you want to go. And so the second step of this is action. So just taking that action. Again, action is everything. I think a lot of people get stuck in their heads, have all these great plans, have all these great ideas. And I know a million people like this. I'm the same way. You stuck in your head, you talk about, hey, I've got this great idea. You talk about it for years. It's 3 years down the road, somebody else did it. Or, hey, maybe I want to go do this. Okay, well, now you're moving to a new city. You don't have the extra income to go for that project or start it or get involved in it. And so taking that action is huge. And then I like how he doesn't stop on that, because that was where I was for a while. It was mindset action. It was courage action. I've said it on this podcast before. Courage and action, that's all you need. And when I boil down to it, that is all you need. With mindset, mindset sprinkled in there as well. But will. Because once that action is taken, we have a preconceived notion to think, okay, I took the action. I pulled the trigger. I shot my shot. Why is nothing happening? Why isn't it working out? Very few things in life are a one action thing, and then it's done. And then it's, it's either yes or no. It's either one or two. You got to keep pressure on it. You got to keep going, keep grinding away at it. And then that is how you will get through these obstacles. That's how you'll get through whatever's blocking your path. You decide how you're going to take it. You take an action, and then you keep going forward. You keep pushing, and you grind away at it. And then it becomes the journey on the other side of that obstacle, which is another obstacle. And that was another thing he joked about. He talked about a lot in the book was, we're not fighting for this sense of, oh, we're free and clear. We're sitting on the beach. We're not doing anything. There will be those moments, but all life is going from one obstacle to the next. And again, this is where perception comes in. You can think about that like, oh, that fucking sucks. I'm going from one problem to another problem to another problem. You can take that and you can say, wow, life sucks. Why, you know what, whatever. I'm just going to make puka shell necklaces on the beach. That's fine. You can do that. You're more than welcome to do that. Or you can take it as my problems are getting better. And that may sound a little counterintuitive, but my problems are getting better. My problems are elevating me to become smarter, adapting. That's what happens when you get through these challenges. That's what happens when you get through problems that you got to fix on the fly or adapt completely. Your game plan is not what it should have been or not what you expected. That's what you get on the other side of that problem is you have changed into the person that can solve that problem. And I think that's what a lot of people fail to see. They just see the obstacle, but they don't see the person you become on the other side of that. You became the person that solved that problem. That's why whenever your next problem happens, it's going to seem your next obstacle, problem, whatever you want to call it. It's going to seem like, oh my God, it's even more daunting. It's because you've leveled up. So have your problems, but you don't realize that with that, you are growing every single time. And so I thought that was something that was always a great, great thought. And I'd never been able to verbalize it as in, we're just fighting from one obstacle to the next, but you're going up the hill, you're going further, you're becoming better, you're becoming someone else until I listened to this book. And that was something that I thought was incredible. Another idea, I love this. I always talk about this. This is something that I could even have on my tombstone, but that's just always attack. Always attack. Those who initiate with the most initiative and energy usually win. Those who charge, those who go forward first with that mindset, with that aggression, with that, we're making this work are the ones who usually succeed. Always attack, always be on the attack. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Shoot, 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 shoot. Something's going to land. The shot's going to hit. If you just keep the pressure on, you keep it going. You're bound to. Think about this. I forget who said this. I don't remember. I wish I did. But if you have the mindset of I'm either going to succeed at what I'm doing, at what I want to do, it could be minute, it could be something big, it could be something small, or I'm going to die trying. Well, then there's two options. You either succeed and get everything you wanted, you achieve your goals, you become the person you want, you have the life you want. You either succeed because that's the one option you gave, or you died trying to achieve it. I don't see really where there's a losing situation. If you're following something you love, a goal that you have, something you want to be, if you're working towards that every day, there's going to be progress. There's going to be, and if you don't get to exactly where you were, well, then you're closer than you were right now. You're closer than you were when you made that decision to, you know what, maybe I'm not going to go for it. Maybe I'm not going to shoot my shot. Maybe I'm not going to try. Maybe I'm not going to, let myself out there. But if you give yourself those two paths, those are the only two options that are going to happen. You're either going to make it or you're going to die trying. That's as simple as that. And that's something that hit me so to my core. If you just make that decision, if you just turn that light switch on, it's something that I thought was super valuable. Again, I wish I could remember who said that. Another quote from this book that I thought was incredible was stop looking for an epiphany and look for a weak point. Stop looking for angels and start looking for angles. And this is something that harkened right back to Sun Tzu's Art of War of, attack the corners or attack from the side, whatever it may have been. I can't quote it exactly. I read that book years ago, but you're looking for the remedy, the solution, the one trick pony to where it's like, okay, now I made it. Instead, look for the cracks you can slip in. I don't have the connections. I don't have the money. I don't have the time. Look for how you can do it. How can you do it more efficiently? How can you save money? How can you find the right people that will get you in the right room to have the right conversations? That's all it is at the end of the day. When you really boil it down, that's all it is. And so that not looking for angels, look for angles, I thought was a great play on words, great writing by Ryan Holiday, but it's true. Instead of looking up going, make this happen for me, look at how can I squeak through the cracks? How can I make this more efficient, make it better? And again, once you have that ability, once you figure that out, then now not only are you in the game, but you've streamlined the process to get into it. So that'll help you with every other concept. If you can do it for less money, then now whenever you figure out the rest of it, when you figure out the people, how it's done, all of this, once you figure that out, now you're doing that, but with less money, you already have an advantage. So thinking about it like that just brought a whole new perspective for me. Is find the angles, find the way in, find the reason it will work, not the reason it won't work. Focus on, or here, let's do a better one. Actually, I don't like that one. The best men are not those who wait for chances. They're the ones who take them. Again, this is another idea of the always attack, of the courage and action, of mindset, goals, courage, action, which has kind of been my way of organizing my thoughts. I think my thoughts go at 1,000 miles an hour, and I've always found ways, or I've been trying to find the perfect method, which again never will. But as long as I can refine it, as long as I can sharpen that blade, then I'm getting better. I had something in high school where I just couldn't organize my thoughts. I'd write them down, and then the second I wrote them down, I'd forget them, or they'd all get jumbled again. I used to visualize like a table, and there would be 5 notebooks, and it'd be like, this is school, this is financial, this is health, this is whatever it could be. So I've been working on methods for a while to kind of quiet the thoughts. Meditation helps with that, but really just when you're not in that mode of just how do you quiet the thoughts, how do you organize your mind, because that's something that I've always had issues with. Call it ADD, call it whatever you want. I don't really like a label on it, but the 4 kind of pillars that I've been running off of just for whenever decisions need to be made to get in the right mindset to attack the day, it's mindset, perspective, emotion, whatever you want to call it. Goals, have your goals as your North Star. Courage, because it's the only thing you need. It's the only virtue you need to get things done. And then action. That's all you need. Get your mind right. Know where you're headed. Again, kind of get your mind right as well, but get that courage and then pull the trigger. Shoot that shot. Those are the things I've been going after, and it's something I've been using for the past month or so, and I think it could really help out. Just having those 4 MGCA, just having something. You read a million books, you'll listen to a million podcasts, you'll watch a million videos, but I'm trying to boil it down to what do you need to make decisions in the moment, and that's something that I think really helps out. And as far as I stand right now, currently 25 years old on June 23rd, 2022, that's what I've found is the easiest to get out of your headspace in that moment and then make those decisions, go towards those goals whenever you're kind of lost in the flow of, oh, I need to wash my clothes, or, oh, I need to go run to the grocery store, blah, blah, blah. Now your day's over. And then there's nothing you can do. You didn't get any closer to your goals. You didn't do anything that you wanted to achieve. So that's something I've been harping on recently to kind of get my mind right. But, the best men aren't the ones who wait for chances. They're the ones that take them. That's that always attack. That's that go into it courageously. Look for the angles, look for the attack, look for what you're trying to do next. Take that one step. All you need is one step at a time. Have that goal at the peak of the mountain, fucking way far away, through the dark forest, through the snow, whatever you want, however you want to picture it. Look at it like that, but then all you're focused on is that next step, the next action item, the next thing you can do. Plan, process, everything like that, but take the action for the next step. Take that chance. It's scary. It's a muscle, is the best way I've heard it described. It's a muscle. The more you take chances, the easier it'll get. Make them calculated, but take those shots. And I think most of those things, again, are stuff people have heard before. It's nothing out of the ordinary. It's nothing, groundbreaking. But when you read certain books, things will hit you at different times. I was reading through some Ralph Waldo Emerson stuff that I highlighted in high school when I was, 16, 17 years old. Completely different mindset. Well, maybe same-ish mindset, but different problems, relationships, finding out who you are. Still don't know that answer to that question, as a lot of us don't. But the things I highlighted then are different than the things I look for now in books. And just having those different writings, having those different angles from different perspectives, sometimes they'll hit. Sometimes you'll read something about taking risks and it just doesn't hit you the right way. But maybe 40 minutes later, somebody says a little bit different and you're like, damn, I get it. I want to take that chance. I want to take that risk. And so, again, absolute great book. The Obstacle is the Way, Ryan Holiday. I would suggest checking it out. Another book I'm currently working on right now is Atomic Habits. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm a chapter in or a third in, I can't remember, but this is going to be one of the best books. This will probably be my top 5 books, top 3 maybe here pretty soon. I'm barely into it, and there's a million different things that they're talking about. I was thinking, oh, habits, yeah, but they really go into, working for an outcome. Let's say you want to bench 225. There's different types of levels of change. There's I want to bench 225. There's I go to the gym 5 times a week, and then there's I'm an athlete. One's outcome based, one's habit based, and one's identity based. And if you can focus on the identity based things, if you can change from, I eat healthy on the weekdays to, I'm health conscious, or, no, I don't want to, like, no, if somebody offers you a cigarette or a vape or whatever, and it goes from, no, I don't want it, to, no, I'm not a smoker. That's your identity. That's you saying, I don't want to do that. That's you saying, I am not that person. There's a difference. And so we'll bring this book back up again. Like I said, I'm not through it yet, but I already have pages of notes while I'm listening to it. So it's going to be a great one. But I appreciate everybody for listening. I know this was a little bit different. We do a change of pace. You always got to keep you on your toes, but I really do enjoy making these podcasts, and I hope you do too. So if you could leave a follow, if you could share it, that's the biggest thing. And if you want to DM me, let me know any thoughts. That'd be great. Any topic ideas, and we'll get people back on the podcast here soon. Got a lot of things in the work. I know I say that a lot, but stuff on the back end takes a little bit. And there are some obstacles in the way, but that's exactly how we like it. But I appreciate everybody for listening. I wish you the best on everything you're doing. Go out, kill it, shoot your shot, fuck what everybody else says, and see you guys in the next one.